Hi, this is Don McAllister, and welcome to another Screencasts Online weekly tip video. Now, with the advent of macOS High Sierra, there are some tasks you might want to undertake on your Mac before committing to the upgrade. Now, firstly, ensure that the applications that you rely on are fully compatible with macOS High Sierra, as well as any peripheral devices. Now, this can usually be determined by contacting the app or hardware vendor. If you do use your Mac for business or professional use, it may well be worth holding out for the first point release. Now, once you've decided that you do want to upgrade, it's always a good idea to give your current installation a clean out and take a backup. Now, I already have Clean My Mac installed and running. A couple of things you can do. You can both clean your Mac, but also you can remove any applications that you no longer need. There's a fully blown uninstaller in here. What I would suggest is to go here and say sort by last launch date, and you can actually see which applications you haven't launched for a while, and then make a decision as to whether or not you want to keep them or not. Just to show you, I'm going to uninstall Synology Assistant. I haven't used it for a year on this demo machine, so I'll click on here. I can do a complete uninstallation or an application reset, but I'm going to go ahead and say complete uninstallation, and then we'll say uninstall. Are you sure you want to permanently uninstall Synology Assistant? We'll say yes, and that will go ahead and do it for us. Once you've uninstalled any apps that you don't want, you can go to Smart Cleanup. This will go through, it will take out all your system junk, any junk in your photo library, mail attachments, iTunes, trash bins, etc. It will also analyze any large and old files, so you can identify any space hogs and remove them manually. So let's go ahead and do a quick scan. Okay, I won't wait while it goes through, but you can see already the SystemDrunks already found 1.7, 1.8 gigabytes. So there's a fair amount of junk on this particular machine. I'm going to let it run through, and when it's finished, we'll come back and see just how much junk it's found. So 2.54 gigabytes are now ready for safe cleanup. If I didn't want to actually delete these, I could uncheck these boxes. So for instance, if I wanted to not have mail attachments deleted, I could just go ahead and uncheck that and then say clean. You'll see that the large and old files need review. So we'll come back, but we'll just go ahead and clean all that junk off our system. Right, I have Safari open, so I'm going to quit Safari. And that will go ahead and remove all my cache files, log files, etc. And once that's finished, we'll go ahead and take a look at the large and old files as well. So that's now been cleaned. I can go to maintenance mode at this moment as well. Improve disk performance, resolve various application errors. So basically just tune up your Mac, but I won't do that for now. Let me just go ahead to the large and old files. We can review them. And here I can see I've got some old tutorials that probably I don't need anymore, especially on this demo machine. So I can just select some of them. Let's select the first couple and then just say, select that one as well. And we'll say remove. And remove again. Okay, so that's 677 megabytes removed. Okay, so once you've cleaned up your Mac, once you've tuned up your Mac, you really need to make a full backup. Now you can, and I would recommend making an external backup to an external drive, or you can use Time Machine, but just make sure that your Time Machine is working and you have a valid Time Machine backup. Now to do that, of course, if you go to System Preferences, and then under System Preferences, go into the Time Machine panel. You'll see on this demo machine, I've switched off Time Machine. So my last backup was the 12th of May. If I wanted to, I could switch this back on. One other tip as well, if you are potentially going to use Time Machine to restore a machine in the future in case of problems, make sure under Options that you haven't excluded any important folders. So for instance, here I've excluded the Downloads folder and one user folder, which I no longer use, so that's not going to impact me if I were to use a Time Machine backup to restore my machine. But I'm not going to use Time Machine. I'm actually going to go ahead and use an external backup. So if I go to Safari, the two I would recommend are SuperDuper or Carbon Copy Cloner. Now SuperDuper I'll use in this particular example. You can download it for free, and you can use SuperDuper to do a full bootable backup of your machine using the free version. If you want to use it for more sophisticated things, such as doing incremental backups, you do need to purchase it. But I've got the standard version installed. If I just run it, we get the user's guide, but I'll close that down for now. We can ignore this message as well. So let's just put that back in the top. Right, so I'm going to copy my boot drive, my SCO HD drive, to my external USB drive. Now you can use a USB drive, you can use a Thunderbolt drive. I have a 124 gigabyte drive connected here. I'm just going to select that. Now when you create your bootable backup, it will delete all the files on your target drive, so just be careful about that. But I'll go ahead and say copy now, put in my admin password. So we're about to completely erase the USB drive. We'll say OK and copy. Right, so what's going to happen is it's going to prepare the drive, it's going to copy the entire contents of my boot drive, and it's going to make the target drive a bootable drive. So in the event of a problem with the macOS Sierra upgrade, I can always boot off my backup and get back to a known position. So that backup was successful. I now have a bootable backup on my external drive, and I can now proceed with the macOS High Sierra installation upgrade, knowing that I have an up-to-date backup of my Mac. If you want to learn more about using your Apple devices, there are over 700 full video tutorials available to Screencast Online members, covering all aspects of the Mac, iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, and even the Apple TV. Now, all full members receive a new Apple-related video tutorial each and every week, as well as a free subscription to the Screencast Online monthly magazine, packed with videos and articles on getting the most out of your Apple devices. Now, you can get your free 14-day trial membership over at ScreenCastsOnline.com, or check out some of the free content over on the SCO Showcase app on the iPad, iPhone, and Apple TV. That's it for this week. I'll be back next week with another tip, so I'll speak to you then.